Tips when you have long hair, you can use it as a fan. Hi, I'm Amelia, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about what you can do to grow your hair and prevent frizz and breakage when brushing, washing, drying, using heat styling tools and sleeping on your hair. So I went from this hair to a bleached blonde bob, back to this hair which is my natural hair, it's my natural colour and I don't wear extensions. It took me about 2 years to get to this point. So if you're interested in my hair growth tips and tricks, please keep watching. So let's start off with brushing your hair. So I've heard a lot of people say to me over the past 10 years that I should invest in a good brush or you should get a detangling brush and this will really help with breakage. I have bought expensive brushes in the past and I have not noticed any difference at all. I actually just use this £1 Primark brush, this paddle brush, and this is all I use on my hair, and I personally don't think you need to invest in a really good brush, but some people might tell you different things. I think the key thing with brushes and brushing your hair is making sure you brush your hair enough. So I didn't used to do this and I'd maybe brush my hair once a day, so my hair was getting really knotty throughout the day and then I'd be brushing it trying to get all the knots out. What you should do is brush your hair at least 3 times a day, so at the start of the day, middle of the day and end of the day. This way you're not really being really harsh on your hair with the hairbrush trying to detangle knots, which will just snap your hair and make it more difficult for your hair to grow and for you to get length. Another thing that is really important is brushing your hair before you get into the shower. So I know some people don't do this and they wait till their hair's wet to brush their hair, but this will really just make your hair snap. When your hair's wet, it becomes more elastic, so it is more likely to snap, so you really need to brush any knots out of your hair before you get in the shower. So now on to washing your hair. So I'm sure you've heard this before, but this is so important. Only wash your hair up to twice a week. I personally wash my hair once a week, and I did used to be one of those people that was like, I can't wash my hair only once a week, I have to wash it every day because it gets really greasy. And this is true, but if you only wash your hair once a week for 4 weeks, your hair will be trained and it will get used to it and it will no longer be greasy after the first day, so it's just something you really need to stick at. If you're washing your hair every single day, you're just going to make it really dry and dull and sort of lifeless because there's no oils on the ends or lengths of your hair. All the oil is just on your scalp. So if you're drying out the lengths of your hair even more by washing it every day, it's just not good for your hair and it will just be dull. Another key tip when washing your hair is when you shampoo, you need to make sure you only shampoo the roots of your hair. When I was younger, I used to shampoo my whole hair and put it all on my scalp and lather it all up together. And I think this stems from when your parents wash you when you're a little kid, because they always did that and you'd always make shapes with your hair or whatever. But do not do that because again, you are drying out the ends of your hair. If you shampoo your scalp and then when you rinse the shampoo off, as it travels down your hair, it is cleaning the lengths of your hair, so your hair still will be cleaned even when you just shampoo the roots. So now on to conditioner. A mistake I used to make when conditioning my hair was that I wasn't actually putting the conditioner on enough of my hair. I would say I used to condition probably this much of my hair and that was it because I was worried that my hair would get greasy. But now I actually start my conditioner about here and I condition all of this. This is a really good thing to start doing if your hair is dry and it is breaking, so you're not getting the length that you want. Your hair will not get greasy from conditioning that amount of hair because you're still miles away from the root. Another really good thing to do even before you condition your hair is squeeze your hair to get the excess water out. So I'll just get my hair like this and sort of squeeze it down, and I'll probably do that twice right before I condition, because if your hair is soaking wet it is hard for the conditioner to permeate the cuticle because there's no sort of gaps left in the cuticle for it to get into. Don't quote me on the science of that, I think that's right, but all I know is it makes a difference. On to drying your hair and using heat styling tools. Always when your hair is wet or damp, use an oil on your hair. It will make so much difference, and I wish I'd have known this years ago. I only started using an oil about 5 years ago and I wish I'd have known this 10 years ago. So using a hair oil is so good because the oil is a heat protectant, so you don't need an extra heat protector. And I don't know if you like me, I actually don't like using heat protectors because I think they do give my hair sort of a weird texture and it can make it sticky, and I just don't really like using them. But if you use an oil, this will sort of seal the cuticle and make your hair frizz-free if you put it on when it's wet or damp. The reason for using it when your hair is wet or damp is because when it's dry, your cuticles are effectively closed, so the oil can't get into the cuticle to smooth out your hair. So there's loads of different oils that you can use on your hair. I personally like to use an argan oil, but my argan oil has run out at the moment. You can also use coconut oil or Moroccan oil. At the moment I'm using this Garnier coconut oil and cocoa butter oil in my hair because the one I actually do normally use is from TK Maxx, and I think it's been discontinued or they just don't sell it there anymore. But any sort of oil that you can get on your hair when it's wet is going to do the job and it's going to help you out. Even if you're not using heat, so you're not using the oil as a heat protector, because it does seal the cuticle, it just makes your hair smooth. I used to think that if I didn't blow dry my hair would just be a big frizzy mess, and it was. But that's because I didn't use an oil. Use an oil and let your hair dry naturally and it will make so much difference, and it'll just be smooth and sleek. But if you use the oil before you use heat and you use it after you use heat, your hairstyle will lock in and last all week. This means you'll only have to use heat on your hair either once or twice a week, depending on how many times you wash it. So when you're going to apply oil to your hair, you want to put however many pumps you're going to use in your hand first. Rub your hands together like this. So I'll always make sure that I rub them like this. It looks really weird. My hands look like dinosaur hands because my nails are that disgusting, but whatever. Like this, so that the oil is getting sort of in between your fingers and on your palms, because that way when you then go and rub it through your hair like this and you put your fingers through your hair, you can make sure that you're getting every single strand. And always rub the hair downwards with the oil, never rub up, because again you are just separating the strands and you're causing the cuticle not to be streamlined and going straight down. Now on to drying your hair. This is the biggest tip that I wish I'd have known so long ago. This is, out of everything I've mentioned, the most important one. So, I don't know if you like me, but when I used to dry my hair, I would get my hair dryer and just go like this. And I'd just lift up my hair and I'd just be drying it like this, and there was not really any rhyme or reason what I was doing. I was just trying to dry my hair quickly and I didn't know any better. So what you actually have to do when you're drying your hair is get your hair in the brush and get your hair dryer and point downwards. The hair dryer always needs to be pointing downwards like that. So you get your hair dryer, point down. Honestly, this will make so much difference to you. So much difference. Because even when I used to blow dry my hair, I'd always say, oh, well, it's frizzy unless I straighten it. Yes, of course it's frizzy if I'm using the hair dryer and going like this. Obviously it's frizzy because all I'm doing is separating all of my hair. The cuticle is not drying down straight because I'm being an idiot going like this. When you dry it downwards, you're making sure the cuticle dries straight down rather than like splaying out. Splaying, is that a word? You know what I mean. And it will honestly change your life. Your hair will be so smooth, silky and amazing after you've dried it. So another thing that I used to do, which is really bad for your hair, and even thinking about the fact that I did this now is like, am I stupid? Maybe. Is after I get out of the shower and my hair was wet and I had the towel on my head, I used to rub the towel like this on my hair to dry it. And I used to do that for years, and I'd wonder why I had split ends and why my hair was breaking. What you need to do is, first off, never ever do that, and instead squeeze your hair in the towel. So you just want to squeeze like this, but just imagine you've got the towel in between your hands and your hair, and just squeeze down your hair, and that is so much more effective, and it means that you're not rubbing all your strands of hair together and causing them to snap. The final tip that I have for today is what you can do when you are sleeping. So one thing that you can do, and I'm laughing because I look so ridiculous when I'm wearing this, is buy a silk hair cap. So I bought a silk hair cap off Amazon for about £10, I think it was. If I can find a picture of me wearing the hair cap, I'll post it here. but it's funny. And it's not my best look, but it's my best look the next day when my hair is intact. So if I straighten my hair and I don't wear the hair cap, the next day I feel like the ends of my hair are really rough and they aren't really as shiny anymore, and they feel like just a bit coarse. If you wear a hair cap, your hair will just be perfect when you wake up, which will help your hair grow because your hair isn't breaking in the night by tossing and turning on some cheap ass pillowcases. Just because I have cheap pillowcases, I'm not assuming you do too, but I feel like investing in a good pillowcase is something I aspire to be, that person in the next 5 years that has like 100% Egyptian cotton bedding. But it's just not me right now. It's just not me. You know, I've got food to order, makeup to buy, things to do, that I'm not buying stuff like that. But anyway, sidetracked slightly. Silk hair cap is the one. I'll link the one that I've got down below so you can get it, but it is so good. So the final thing to do with sleeping is, if you don't have a hair cap or a hair cap, I imagined a cat then wearing a hair cap, it was quite funny. Anyway, if you don't have one of them and you don't really want to do that, you don't want something on your head, there are so many styles you can put your hair in at night, which means when you wake up your hair will have a natural sort of texture and hairstyle. So I know you'll probably know sleeping in a plait means you'll wake up with wavy hair. Sleeping in a French plait is really good too. You can also sleep in space buns. So that's something I will do. I'll either do little space buns down here or on the top of my head, and it makes your hair have such a nice wave the next day. So definitely try doing that if you don't want to sleep in a hair cap and look as cool as I do when I wear mine. So that's all of my tips and tricks on how you can make sure your hair is growing as quickly as possible, doesn't break, and remains frizz-free. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you do like my videos, please do subscribe. It would mean the world to me, and I'll see you next week. How annoying is it when you don't know the words and you love the song and you're like, I hate that so much, especially when you're like in a club and you only know like the key word of the song, so everyone's just sort of not saying anything, and then when that bit comes on everyone's like, ah, and you're like, shut up. Like, I say shut up to myself. There's a song that everyone does that for. It's a Kanye and Jay-Z song. Can't remember, but there's a song.